August. That's the end of August. That's in damn foot of water. Oh. That fish eating bluegill probably, and then she come up and pow!
Hey guys, thanks for tuning in for another Advanced Bassin video. I hope y'all enjoyed it. Today we shot a quick video of me and my buddy Cameron fishing a lake in East Texas. We're primarily fishing hollow body walking frogs. We had a pretty good day. Those were the two best fish we caught a couple other smaller ones. The cover we were throwing those around was lily pads and some clumps of reeds. The fish were up in the lily pads actually chasing, and they were actively chasing and feeding on bluegill and sunfish. It was a pretty fun bite. You could see fish up in the reeds and the lily pads moving around, boiling. That second fish I caught, I actually saw that fish boil on a bluegill or a sunfish, and then I made a good cast right behind him, a little in front of him, and I worked that frog right through the strike zone, and she just hammered it. It was an awesome bite. I hope the video was fun watching. Every time I see a frog video, it gets me excited to go out and fish. I'm gonna go over real quick the rod I was using, the reel I was using, types of cover to throw a frog around, and how to work the frog. First thing, we're gonna talk about the rod. The rod I was using was a 736 Dobbins Champion XP. There's the logo. I had that paired up with 65-pound braid on a Lose Tournament MB speed spool. This is an awesome frog reel. You need a really high-speed reel when you're fishing frogs. You want to be able to reel up any slack line you have and set the hook as fast as possible, and you want that high speed to help get the fish out of the cover as fast as possible. Rod and line are the biggest key when frog fishing. You've got to have braid, at least 50 pound. I prefer 65 overall. It's really abrasion resistant. It still casts really well. If you go too heavy, like an 80-pound braid, it doesn't cast very well, and that's really just overkill. Also hurts the action of the frog. But for the rod you're picking, you want at least a 7-foot heavy action rod. I'd prefer a 7.3 or a 7.6 for moving a lot of line when I set the hook. I want to drive those hooks home into the fish's mouth. You want to have a rod that's got a little bit of a tip on it. You don't want just a broomstick that doesn't have any tip. You're going to have problems making accurate casts with the frog. You know, I like that 736 a lot. You can also use a 735 or a 765. Those are all some awesome frog rods Dobbins makes. Let's talk real quick about the frog we were using. We were using a Spro walking frog. The primary cadence we were using when working the frog was a slow walk the dog style action. We were just making that frog walk back and forth, and we weren't trying to move it very quickly. We were just trying to keep it in the strike zone, keep it around those holes in the lily pads where those fish were feeding. Really want to experiment with how you're working the frogs throughout a day of fishing, figure out what the fish wants. Like any other lure in bass fishing, every day is going to be different. Some days they like it fast with a lot of movement on it. Other days they want it sitting there, not moving much, and a lot of days like today, they really like that slow, steady walking action with 2 to 3 second pauses in between, you know, every 4 or 5 twitches of the frog. Cover I like to throw hollow belly frogs around is really any shallow cover, whether it's tree stumps, laydowns, lily pads, flooded grass, flooded bushes, reeds, anything that's in I'd say less than 5 foot of water, throwing a frog on can be very effective. We were only fishing about 1.5 foot of water in those lily pads, which is really an awesome depth to fish those frogs at. The fish really are able to hone in on that bait in that shallow water. It's super weedless, so it comes through all that heavy cover very well. If you're having problems hooking frogfish, you can do a couple things to increase your hookups. First thing I would do is, after you've missed a couple frogfish, I would adjust the way you're working that frog, see if there's a different speed or a different type of action you can implement on the frog to make them bite it better. If that doesn't work, I would change the color. Typically, I want to throw dark in the mornings, natural colors in the daytime when it's sunny. So, you know, black in the mornings, natural colors the rest of the time, whether that's a natural frog pattern like this one that's got green and yellow in it, or something like a white frog can be really killer. You can also downsize your frog. Spro makes a Spro Junior frog, which also can be really effective, especially if the fish are feeding on smaller shad or smaller bluegill or even small frogs. So those are some things you can do to get a better hookup in the frogs. You can also bend these frog hooks out. You can see they lay pretty close to the frog. If you put your pair of pliers right about here and bend like that, bend straight up with the frog hooks, you can make that hook point stick up some more. Keeps that hook point off of the frog. It makes them less weedless, but it also provides a better hookup ratio. Sometimes you need to do that, but when they're eating the frog good, I don't even worry about it. So those are some frog fishing tips. Be sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. Let me know in the comments what you think about the videos, and until next time, God bless and good fishing. Thanks for watching.